Okay, let's go and get started. This is class 6. Today we're going to talk about C language flow control. But before we do that, I want to do something really quickly here. I know that some of you have been having difficulty getting CodeBlocks to work right. So what I want to do is very quickly switch over and talk about how to fix that if you're having troubles with that. And this is for the PC. So if you're on the PC, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the desktop view here for a second and show you how to do that. So first off, you want to go to CodeBlocks.org, which let me make this so this fits a little better on the screen here. So CodeBlocks.org is where you're going to want to go to download that. And then when you're on CodeBlocks.org, let me move this around just a little bit so you can see it a little better. So when you're on CodeBlocks.org, go to the download section. And then if you click on the binary release, notice here's the one for versions of Windows. And the one you're going to want is going to be the one that has the MinGW setup.exe. And you can either get the 64-bit one up here or the 32-bit one down here. Those are really, it's the same program, it's the same build, 20.0.3. But make sure it has this MinGW in the title. So if you're on want the 32-bit one down here, if you want the 64-bit one up here. Now, when you go to download that, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to download it. And to save time, I've already downloaded it. So let me just go to my downloads directory. So here's the one. I went and downloaded the 32-bit one. You could download the 64-bit one. But you go and run that. And that's going to run the installer, which that window comes up. I'll just say yes. That will run the installer. And then what I'm going to do is just keep all of these the same. Agree, next, install. So I didn't change any of the location or anything like that. I just told it to install. And we'll give it a couple minutes here. And the problem seems to be that something about this new distribution has the names of the programs that are the compiler and the other parts of not the IDE itself. The IDE is really just an editor. It's like a glorified text editor. The parts that seem to be different are the settings for the compiler, the thing that turns the source code, the text files, into the C code. And what that MinGW is, MinGW is a distribution of the GCC, the GNU, which is the Free Software Foundation's C and C++ compilers that are open source. So those MinGW basically bundles that compiler toolchain along with the IDE and installs it all at once. But there's something about that setup that has the wrong file names as the default. So I'm going to show you how to fix that as soon as this installation completes. And really, it shouldn't be too difficult to do. So what I'll probably do is when we get this fixed and working, then what I'm going to show you, I'm going to stop this video under a separate video. I'll go through the lecture. So that way you don't have to watch this every time you want to watch the actual lecture contents from today. So let's, looks like we're about done here. So we'll give it another couple minutes, and then at that point it will be done. All right, so we'll say, do we want to run it? We'll say yes. And now, I believe this should have that problem. So we'll let the application start. So there's the application start. Now, to test to see if it works out of the box, let's actually give this a test. So what I'm going to do to test this is go up to File, and say File. I'm going to say New. I'm going to say Project, and then I'm going to pick Console Application. Next, I'm going to pick C language as the project. And here I'm just going to do Test Project. I'll just give it a name. I'll say Finish. And now when this comes up, if I click on this plus sign on the Sources tab over here, and then go to main.c, double click that, there's my kind of skeleton program that the little wizard created for us. So I'm going to click on this little button up here, the one that says Build and Run when you hover it over it. You could also notice, go up to Build, and say build and run from there, or notice there's a shortcut there for F9. You could do any of that, but I'm going to do that. Now, okay, that actually worked. If that doesn't work, if it gives you an error here, I'm going to show you how to fix that. So to fix that, if it gives you an error there, you're going to go to Settings, you're going to go to Compiler, and then under here where it says Toolchain Executables, well, two things. First off, make sure this top thing says Selected Compiler. Make sure it says GNU GCC Compiler. And then under Toolchain Executables, we want to make sure that these are set to the right thing. So if it's giving an error, make sure that this compiler's installation directory is pointing at the MinGW directory. And if you can click Auto Detect, if it doesn't find it there, then click on the ... to the left of it and navigate to the place where the MinGW directory is. Now, you don't want to do anything inside that. You just want to navigate to that MinGW directory. So typically it's in C drive, program files x86, CodeBlocks, MinGW. Once you're in that directory, just say select folder, and that will fill that in for you. The second thing we need to make sure is make sure that these are set up correctly. So notice that the C compiler is gcc.exe. If it has something else there, MinGW, some version number, gcc.exe, then you need to fix that. So to fix that, click on the ... It'll take you to that directory, and you're going to click on this gcc.exe that's inside of that directory right there. And then you're going to do that for the other ones here. The C++ compiler is g++.exe. The linker for dynamic libraries is g++.exe. Make sure these kind of match. And I'm going to leave that up on the screen so you can kind of zoom in and take a screenshot of that or look at it. But make sure these match what we have here. All of them should be like this. It should set that up correctly when you install the compiler. Sometimes if you had a different version previously, like 32-bit version, and you put the 64-bit on, or you had the 64-bit version and you uninstall it and put the 32-bit on, those things might be different. So just make sure you get these all set up. When you do, say OK. And then when you go back here and do build and run, it'll actually work, and you should see that working. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. And then we're going to go back to the actual lecture under a separate video. So hopefully that helped some of you if you're having issues. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and I'll see you on the other side in the next one. So see you soon.